my great pleasure to introduce to you Joyce Young. She is creative director. She started Random Art Workshop. She does film producing. She was recently in LA last month opening a sci-fi thriller film, Agent, which is coming out very soon.
Yep, March.
Very soon. March. Okay, great. She's also an amazing photographer. Check out her Instagram site. So fantastic to have you.
Thank you.
Please welcome Joyce.
Thanks. Thanks, I'm Joyce. Can you hear me? Okay, great. And as George mentioned, I'm a photographer and a film producer. First of all, thanks for being here so early today. And thank you, George and CreativeMornings, for inviting me to speak on the topic of moments. So moments define us. And as we think back, there's specific moments and incidences we want to remember, cherish, and that's what makes you, you. So one of the more defining moments for me is when I decided to switch from corporate job to become a photographer. And so I was in 10 years in credit risk management. I worked for American Express. I was both in New York and I moved to Hong Kong, heading up the team here. So it was kind of a difficult decision, obviously, because I've been in that company for so long in that industry, to completely, not only just to start a business, but to move from something so analytical to a creative field. You guys okay? So that was 7 years ago. It took a little bit of time to start my own business. And it started off as a hobby first. I've always wanted to switch to do my own business, and there are many things that I thought through, but didn't really have a passion for. But finally, I just, I realized that photography is something I would love to do every day, and that's definitely something I wanted to continue. So I want to share with you today my entrepreneurial journey over the past few years through three main steps, which is capturing the moment, living in the moment, and seizing the moment. So as a photographer, obviously capturing the moment is very important, being able to successfully do that and quickly execute on it. So I started doing a lot of different photos and being able to just kind of find that framing, that moment, and looking for the right time to capture those moments, and then do a lot of different jobs, different type of photography, just to get a sense of how it is like and what it takes. And of course, it takes a bit just to learn the technical aspect, but also the creative aspect. So just getting a way around camera, different types of camera, different lens, and as you learn more, you get more specific on what you want to do. Then you add the lighting and the flash, and when to use it, or how to best utilize it. So wedding is one of the categories that I did a lot more and started a lot. And I would say it is actually one of the hardest type of photography, because you do so much in that one day. And it's not just wedding photography, it really encompasses being natural, doing the natural lifestyle type of photos, but also being able to do portraiture when you do sessions with the couple. And while doing that, you have to be able to also guide, from a two-person shoot to maybe 20 people with the family, and keeping the energy going and making sure that everybody is engaged. So that really taught me quite a lot in terms of being able to look for those different moments. And a lot of it's just noticing. You observe a lot, and that's one thing why I also liked getting into photography is I like observing. I like to see what's going on and kind of notice those different interactions. And when people, when they're friends or lovers or husband and wife have that moment, I always wanted to be like, oh, it'd be nice to get that. So becoming a photographer, I'm able to execute on that. Just go and observe. And so whether it's a tender moment or just a funny moment, and a lot of times it's considered off camera. In cases like this, the client or the subject will feel like I'm already done shooting. But the best moment sometimes is actually after that, when they think you're not looking, and that's when you're looking. So that's the best time. You have to keep keep observing and keep looking, and that's when you really kind of work hard to get those shots. You work with clients, and of course you interact, and you have to learn how to make them feel comfortable. Motivate them, but also kind of get the best out of them. And that's a lot with any type of portraiture. whether it's wedding, family portraits, headshots, corporate as well. Just being able to interact, make them feel comfortable, and have them motivate them to do something that they feel comfortable, so that you can feel, the couples or the subjects' personality, whether it's people, or kids, pretty tough to do actually, or pets. I would say pets actually a little easier than kids. Pets generally respond to food. You have a bit of snack or a bit of a toy, then they'll kind of come around even in a bad mood. But kids a little, it takes a little longer. So definitely in a shoot with all three types, then it's a bit of a challenge but fun and gratifying when you get those moments. Same kind of timing is everything, and you wait for it. And again, a lot of times it is the off-camera moments that you wait for and you hope for actually. That's a lot of interacting, discussion, or kind of make the client feel at ease, and just go for it. And with kids, it's just a lot of random moments, of course. So, again, encourage them to play and not to be too serious. And usually for kids, that's the best time. Oh, I'm going to go play, so we'll definitely they'll think again that their job's done. They're not in front of a camera, and they'll just do what they want. And as I said, also with different type and with corporate, not just headshots, but a lot of times it's capturing the essence of the leader and their moment, whether it's more serious and you during an interview you kind of wait for that, or it's something that's more lighthearted, but you also want to be a bit more incognito. So I'm hiding behind a plant, trying to be not there, but usually and after a while you're kind of invisible anyways. But try to be out of the way, and it makes for a good artistic foreground. Anyway, so you look for these things, or certain situation actually forces you to look for a new angle and a new way to shoot something. And so every shoot, I feel like I learn a lot, just to kind of find out what I can do more, and or if there's challenges during a situation, then you work around it and really find a way to make it happen. And a lot of times it does, and you find again new ways to present something or to show something. Similar with fashion shoots or lifestyle shoots. Even though these photo shoots are a bit more set up, a bit more planned beforehand, but you don't have to. It doesn't have to be rigid, right? So again, a lot of time it's really prepping for it and working with the client, but you leave room for a lot of spontaneity, or just give them situations. And similar with filming, videography, it's you direct them. So there's you give them some scenarios to say, okay, maybe think about this, or imagine you're doing this type of thing, and kind of let it play out. So a lot of times that works well. Of course, sometimes if that isn't the case, and some clients really want you to tell them what to do, then you work with that as well. And a lot of it's just practice, and you just kind of work in different situations and see what works out. My style is definitely not very rigid. I will plan it out, but a lot of times I leave that room for the movement and randomness, and just kind of capture those things happening. I do like movement a lot, so that's something I try to encompass and show that energy through the photos. So it's all quite a bit of a balance as well. And so the first 2 or 3 years switching into photography, definitely did quite a lot of range of different jobs, different wedding, events, portrait, lifestyle, fashion, some corporate jobs, and commercial. So it's a good mix, and I try to do everything just to get that experience, and again, just kind of learning. And a lot of it's going above and beyond, and really noticing what you have to put in order to get that photo. So then I learned to really how to capture those moments and learn to shoot really quickly. So now it's living in the moment. I do a lot of go out and have time to do a lot of personal projects, and when since you're able to practice a lot, I feel like I shoot a lot faster and be able to respond quicker. And definitely by shooting a lot, it makes me more observant. Because sometimes you get questions like, well, since you shoot so much, would you be tired and not want to do your own thing? Or when you go travel, would you be tired, don't want to bring a camera? But for me, I feel like it's quite the opposite. I feel like the job itself, it has kind of taught me so much better to how to be observant, look at things, get the possible angle, and try different things that I feel like from my daily life, it really helps me just walk around and say, wow, I've never seen this before. I'm from Hong Kong. I live in different places, but every time I go to a certain area, I'm like, wow, I've never seen this before, or I've never seen it in this light. Well, this is wet market, and so just finding patterns in color that are quite interesting. And of course, looking at different angles. So as Hong Kong is perfect, there's so much going on, so much color, so many patterns that you just have to kind of, observe and maybe take a moment and while you're walking just to see what's there. So looking down is always great from bridges. There's a lot of bridges, and see what's happening and just kind of observe the life around you. Or looking up or look around. Again, there's so many buildings around us. So we have beautiful buildings, architecture, old and new. So how do you present that, or how do I do it differently from the items from the images that's already out there? And some of them become a series. I've done an exhibition on this, on reflection. And so, you can kind of start curating and put things kind of similar subjects together, which normally isn't similar, but you can kind of see that as you shoot a lot more around town. This is really just actually downstairs, and, across the street. Sometimes you want to take a moment, you pause, you wait on the corner and see what happens and who comes around and what kind of people walk around. So it's always interesting to kind of get that, and the image itself tells the story. To see, well, you want to put yourself in that person's shoe. What is he thinking? What is this character thinking versus the other characters? He's obviously the only one that noticed me, but didn't mind. Sometimes they'll run away, right? Versus the others just carried on with no business. But shooting on the street also makes you learn how to interact with people. How to just kind of, if you want to get the subject or get a good image, sometimes maybe it's not best to just, steal a shot. You can actually talk to them and say, hey, actually, I'm looking to do some great street photos, and I think you're very interesting. Your story's very interesting. Can I do some photos? And oftentimes that's actually better, just to interact. And that's hard because, well, generally I'm pretty shy, so you don't really want to go up to the person and say, hey, can I take a photo, and interrupt the situation. But a lot of times, actually, it's great, and it teaches me to do that interaction, especially when you're traveling to another country, to kind of understand a little bit more of what's happening with the local vendors or local people. So this is a group of photos. Sometimes I do kind of photo story, photo collage, and I try to blog a bit more, so I'll put it up and show as a story, a visual story of what's happening. This is a Samsherbo, and it's an area where the government is going to take over the space, demolish it, and build something else. And so there's a whole set of vendors that have been there for 30, 40 years of selling fabric that's going to be out of commission. So I just kind of went there to understand what's going on and take a look at it inside and do some documentation on it. While I was there, while I walked around Samsherbo, there's quite a lot of interesting stores. And again, just from one photo, I always find it so interesting sometimes to capture that and just imagine what they're thinking, the swimming pool. Quite a lot of things happening, but just the lady in the middle, I feel kind of bad. She's stuck there every day in that little corner. They probably built that specific office for her. But again, visually interesting. And so those are the things I kind of look for. And if you pass by every day, you may not notice it until you notice it, or until you look for it. Same, just kind of the story, typical kind of vendor, street vendor that you'll see in Bangkok, Samsherbo, and kind of get a sense of what they do, but also the environment itself, with all the colors and things happening. And of course, when I go travel, I do a lot. These are just a couple of photos, and the same thing. I try to get that interaction, get the movement, and notice the lighting. So one thing about shooting so many different types of jobs or photography is that you get to notice light a lot better. So as I shoot, year over year, I feel like I can notice these natural lights a bit better, leverage it better, and use it to my advantage of what I want to tell for the visual story. It's a completely different location, but in Paris, I always find this quite fun because it's really just one photo, but it feels like there's 3 photos in it, 3 different sets of people just having a good time, enjoying their time at a cafe. And the thing about images is that when you get that photo, it's really just squeezing that moment, because any second before, any second after, it could have been completely different. Could be similar, but all could be completely different. So you're really just kind of finding that and just really quickly do it. And the good thing about being so experienced and having that experience with your equipment is that you can do it very quickly. And if I'm going to go travel, it's just really just having on an optimal setting, just go for it, maybe adjust a little bit, but just shoot it fast, because then otherwise you'll miss it. These are 2 images, but it just kind of shows the tourist lifestyle in Hawaii on the balcony. I always find it interesting to see what people do. And I do shoot food as well. With Instagram and social media so prevalent, I do sometimes shoot the food I eat, especially if it's quite nicely presented, different or interesting. In this case, the Chicago deep dish. It's the first time I had it, so it's just a way to show what I feel at that moment of the food. But I try to make it quick, and so that's not cold completely by the time I eat it. And yeah, just taking in the moment. Sometimes it's just a good contrast of the colors, the balance, and in this case, the balance of the clouds and the marching band. But so these are just some examples of travel photography guidelines. And so being an entrepreneur, a lot of times you make a lot of mistakes, right? And also a lot of missed opportunity. So how do you really, work towards seizing the moment, and when do you do that? So I've learned over the years really not to analyze too much. A lot of times you try to balance, it's a business, you try to balance what makes sense, does it financially make sense, does it add to my portfolio, does this work? And sometimes it just takes too long to think about it. So what I learned here is really just kind of have that gut feeling, evaluate enough of it, but as long as you have about 80% of the data, let's say, you can pretty much just go for it. Why wait, right? You're working for yourself, so any project you can just decide. You don't have to ask anyone else for permission, other than the person you're collaborating with, and just go with it. So one of the very recent interesting project I did was an art project with a US-based street mural artist called Kelsey Montague. And she actually approached me on Instagram. And she's looking to expand her reach into Australia and Asia. And Hong Kong was one of the consideration into the location. So we had some Skype call and really got along and thought, well, why don't we just get together and work on a project as well? Since we both will be in LA and we shot this in Malibu. And so it happened really quickly, got along. Again, it was similar creative ideas, and we just happened to have a schedule at the same time, so it's perfect. So these are the cases where it really works out, and really should kind of continue that. And so she did the light drawing with her kind of signature mural artist style, and I captured it. So this is the light painting photography, which is long exposure on the beach, and we had to. And actually, the beach is completely dark, so we had to light the different areas. And each photo took maybe a minute or a few minutes to compose. But it was great fun, and I was able to help her bring the artwork to Hong Kong, and we did an exhibition at the art supermarket. And at the same time, we were able to exhibit together. So she did the live mural, and along with some other artwork that she brought in, and then we also co-exhibited the art, the light painting photography. So that was quite a lot of fun, and something completely different. Nothing I've done before, but very fun and fruitful. Another recent collaboration with S9. She's the designer is Susanna, a very talented designer. She's been having her brand for 5 to 7 years, and we've been talking about collaborating for quite a few times, and finally we're able to just do it. Okay, we've talked about it quite a few times. Let's get together, think of a theme, and what matches her current season's ideas, and go out and execute on the shoot. So sometimes it's really just put it into action. You just have to take that idea and do it. So some of the photos. And it was fun because a lot of it talked about, partly planned, but partly you just go with it in terms of what are locations you're going, and what makes sense as it matches the clothing or the product, depending on what you're shooting. And all of that preparation also lends to a lot of opportunities, and some of them are some of them are commercial opportunities. In this case, I'm very excited to work with Fiji Water, be able to do quite a few of their marketing campaigns and rebranding the bottle or just updating marketing materials. So this is just a couple of examples of the photos I've done with them. But it's all a combination of being able to capture the moment, be able to do something really quickly, and work with different clients and be able to kind of seize that opportunity. Another brand is Garrett Popcorn. Met them in Hong Kong and became great friends and became a client as well. And as we were going to the US and LA to promote film, we were also able to stop by Chicago and do a photo shoot for them. So yeah, these are the cases where you just quickly decide on something, work with the client. If it makes sense, just go ahead and do it. So one of the things is being a film producer. So originally started off transition of photography, but I'm partnered with my husband, who's here, Derek, in the back. He's a filmmaker, and originally I was doing photography. He does the filmmaking. But then it came up as an opportunity for me to help produce as well, and so I took the opportunity. It's not something I thought of doing initially, but thought it was a good opportunity. We worked together and just kind of jump in and help out. So we're on to our third feature film that I started on. The first one just kind of maybe assisting. The second one I helped produce and line produce, and thought it was a very good fit. It actually helped bring back, it's kind of a full circle, it brings back a lot of the skills I learned and used when I was in corporate life, which is project management, budgeting, resourcing, hiring, and just overall executing and managing operations, which is what you do as a live producer. And so here this is on set, just a couple examples of set photos for our latest movie, and we shot it in the desert in California, in Yapa Valley, near Palm Springs. And so it was quite interesting, and also just the right timing. Seizing the moment, you can decide to shoot something a few months later, a few months earlier, but just being able to find the right moment where you get like the cast, the crew, and obviously the investment that can all fall into place. And Derek writes the script as well, so he's able to quickly be able to finish the script as well, and just putting all this timing and working on it, and just say, okay, let's go out. It's not too hot in March. This is last year March. And just go and shoot it and execute it. And we've been able to bring a great team together. You see some, the cinematographer, the actors, the sound, so there's quite a few things happening. This is the RV we're in when Derek has his director meetings. You can see a little bit the wide view of the RV. And so it's quite challenging because we're shooting in the desert. So those are things as a producer you kind of grow and learn. And it helps that I'm a photographer, so I'm able to capture behind the scenes as well. And yeah, it's just great fun to be able to do that and just be able to bring all the skill sets together. And we're launching next month online, and we're just looking to do more. And from the photography and film project perspective, just looking to grow. And again, being able to practice my skill, being able to capture properly, and just living in the moment. And when the opportunity arises, you just kind of go with it. So, yeah, what are your defining moments? Thanks.
Thank you very much, Joyce. I think we can all learn a thing or two about capturing the moment in Hong Kong, and it's such a fast-paced environment here. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes.
Thank you for the talk. Do you find with your Instagram and your reading of photography that you photograph different things for, say, the social media medium as opposed to your private work, or the two like over as with self-promotion?
Sure. There's a good amount of overlap, especially with this personal work. So those are things I will go out and shoot anyways, and of course visually, if I really like the photo, I feel like it's worthy to post, and those are the ones I would post. But of course it's a little different from, let's say, client work, or let's say it's fashion or commercial, then it's slightly different. For those, I may not be able to post anyways. But I feel like the personal style is quite representative on my social media channels. But yeah, again for Instagram, I do a mix of photos, whether it's more serious, or fun, or just food, and or even myself, selfies, and so I try to get a different perspective and kind of my personality.
Good morning, Joyce. Thank you so much. I was wondering, when you were starting out and you mentioned you worked, you did weddings, you did portraits, how did you pivot from one type of photography to another? I do a lot of family portraiture, and now trying to get into more sort of editorial and corporate work. Oh, you just do families. How did you approach that?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and even after a few years, it's harder to kind of decide what to put on your website to represent, because then clients see one thing, they're like, well, but I don't see this. I'm like, well, okay, let me send you some more, because I can't put 100 categories. But initially it was wedding, and well, that actually transitioned more to family type. So that transitioned to family portraits, then you have portraits, so it also transitions to corporate. And I think as you get into that, you start meeting different clients. So I think a lot of it is a natural kind of progression. But I did have a goal to say, okay, I want to do more fashion, I want to do more commercial, so how do I kind of move it towards that? So I think it is just kind of slowly kind of going through clients and see who's closer to it, and maybe ask for recommendations, or sometimes just cold email will work as well, and say, hey, I really like your magazine, or really like your blog, and would you like to collaborate? So I feel like the first 2-3 years definitely there's a lot of balance between paid job and just collaboration.
That's what I
or
was going to ask. Yeah.
Just do it for fun,
Okay, cool.
And I feel like looking back, it's definitely, I think even the first 6 months to a year, I would have definitely done more. Just go out and shoot, because you are really practicing and building a portfolio as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Hello, Joyce. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to ask from your first time as a photographer, like before in the past, how can people find you? Like,
How do we go find it
Yeah.
initially? It's also a building your reputation. I mean, definitely the website's important. So you can at least, if somebody asks about it, you can send them to the website and say, hey, here's a body of work, and you can properly show that's what we're doing. And with a website, always is very operate. And nowadays, it's actually fairly easy to set up a website. There's a lot of templates out there. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can just put the best work. Don't put too much. So just even if it's 10, 20 photos, it's better than putting 100. That's not that great.
Yeah.
So pick your best photos. Initially, I think word of mouth for sure. Like websites there so that you can bring people there. But word of mouth, you shoot for friends, friends referral, and kind of get your word out from that. And even now, like after 5-7 years, it's half of it's referral. A lot of it's still referral, word of mouth. Like a lot did a wedding 2 years ago. I'm referring my friend, let's say, and the other half then you start getting the website. People searching on the website or Instagram is great as well. So you just have to build your contact, building it.
Yeah, I find you on Instagram. So. Cool. Anyone else? Yep.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. About that last question, came into my mind that do you ever get like questions that, oh, we want you to photograph something that you feel that you don't really do, that is not your style, or because like what kind of work you put on the website, and then you get like totally different.
Sure. Do I get the question? It depends how off base it is. I mean, if it's completely something that I wouldn't want to build for my future style or business, then that will probably decline.
But if it's interesting, have you done it?
Have I done it? I mean, yeah, if it's interesting, I definitely would. I mean, especially in the beginning, because you're exploring whether I want to do, let's say, more fashion, more editorial, or more commercial. then you try different things, or even events, right? So I've done quite a lot of different shoots. So you do try different things. I mean, I think if it's a different type, I would try it. But if it's a different style, let's say for fashion, they show me an example, this is what I want you to shoot, and maybe if that's the type of style, but it's not my style, then eventually it's hard to reconcile with the client, because they have one set of visual style, and I have naturally a different style. So that you have to talk in the beginning. If it doesn't work out, I think it's better not to continue, because it'll just be clashing style, you know it from the beginning. Now a lot of times they won't choose you anyways, because that's, again, not a matching style. But other things like product shots, I've done quite a bit, which I don't generally put on my website. And so things like that, maybe initially I don't feel like doing it, but the opportunity arises, and it's a great product, and I really like our website, let's say, then yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Did you have a question? Yeah. Did you have one?
So I think a couple of us have been in the same position as you were maybe 10 years ago when you were just starting your position, completely different life and goal and stuff. What was the greatest challenge that you found when you started?
It's quite a few. Yeah, it's quite a few challenges in the sense that, well, one is building a client, right? So how do you get yourself, back to the question. But I feel like at the time I was, very excited about doing photography. I finally found my passion. And I was quite tired of the corporate life. So from that perspective, I'm like, I don't care, I'm just gonna go and do it. I'm just gonna figure it out, even though I know, maybe I don't know what's going on. But you go and then you talk and you network and you shoot, again, with friends and friends referral. So the challenge, I think, is the marketing. And I think that continues in different ways. You always have to get the word out there. You have to find new clients, and you want to do bigger, better projects, let's say. So that's always new, and that always requires someone to say, well, have you done something like this before? And can you show me exactly? So that's hard, because you know you can do it. I've done so many different types, but just not this exact category. And so how are you going to kind of pitch and convince them? And that's gratifying as well. But I think marketing is definitely one of the challenges, since it changes along the way as well. So it starts from the beginning, but you then have to kind of modify it. The other challenge, obviously, it's also, I've worked on with corporate for quite 10 years, so it's quite a senior position. So the challenge is also now you're kind of back to zero, so to speak. You're back to a novice in that field, and you always have to kind of, remember that, and you start from the beginning and kind of forget that, was, executive in the previous position, and you talk to people and like, well, why are you doing this? You get a lot of questions like, well, why don't you just go back to your job, and do you really like this? And do you miss your salary? And things like that. So you get a lot of questions from other people. And so you just kind of have to stay of course. I mean, of course people ask that, and that's fine because it makes you think about it a bit more. But as long as your answer is still coming back and say, no, I want to do it, then you really know you want to do it.
Thank you for the talk. It's super inspiring.
Thank you.
You're into very competitive spaces of human skills. It's management and it's creative skills. And in most cases, like what I see is a lot of competitiveness. It's a huge, like people see you as a creative, not as a human, in this case, as someone competing with other creatives.
Right.
And for me personally, the biggest challenge recently when I'm reaching out, even as a super shy person too, is that people feel as though there's a fans. First time you reach out, first time you start to talk about new ideas or your creative projects or whatever. And you feel as though we are similar, but at the same time we maybe speak a little different language. And I wonder, did you have the same kind of challenges? If you did, how you overcome them?
Same type of challenge when I approach someone and pitch? Or?
It's in a creative space. We all benefit from collaboration and from shared projects. But at the same time, when you're reaching out, first reaction usually, in my case, maybe because I'm white domain, is negative.
Oh,
and I wonder, like in your case, it's probably completely different, but I wonder if you be in this situation, like how you feel and how you overcome, how you make friends from competition.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is a tough one as well in terms of your kind of competitors, but also peers, right? That you want to obviously work together to kind of up yourself, every time and kind of share the learnings, right? Because it can get quite lonely as doesn't have to be a photographer, just any type of entrepreneur when you're starting out, you're just doing your thing, and you don't know what other people are doing. But that's why co-working space is great. You actually get to meet other people and situations like this where you get together and talk. I don't know if I've completely ran into a very negative feeling, but I think you get a sense of whether you get along with someone. And I think if you don't, then there's no point forcing it because there are so many different types of people that you may want to work with, or maybe in similar fields, and maybe you inspire each other, you always want to work together, that you approach them. But then it could be not just because they don't want to do it, it's just a different time in life, different stage that they're doing. Maybe they're growing really fast and you're just starting out, or vice versa, you're kind of growing really fast and starting out, so it's not matching in terms of the opportunity. So I feel like it is just talking to people. I don't think you have to be too offended by their response. It could just be they're not in the right timing for what you're asking, and sometimes you just come back later. I feel like there are collaborators where we chatted before or met a few years ago, and you just kind of come back together, and now you're in a similar path, and you can work together a little better. So I think it's always good to just kind of keep people in mind. Some of you come back, and some of you just watch from a distance and say, great for you, you're doing something different, but that's cool, Continue that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We've got a lucky draw thing. So not too many business guys in here, so the odds are in your favor almost. Would you like to pick one out? So this is for the 6 months free accounting package with Xero. So I'll let you do the honors.
All right. Divya? Divya. Yeah. Oh, wow.
All right, well done, Divya.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks
All right,
again.
yeah, thank you so much.
for inviting me.
Next month the theme will be taboo. We'll be on the 17th of March, I believe. So keep abreast of the announcement that will come up very soon. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Joyce.
Thank you.
All right, great. Yeah. Thanks a lot. That was great.